All right. So in this section, we're going to be looking at construction estimating. Yes, we're going to be looking at construction estimating. One may ask, what is construction estimating? Construction estimation is the process of forecasting the total cost required to build or renovate a structure, including materials, labor, equipment, and overheads. Okay, so this is what I just read. That is it, as you can see over there, as simple as ABC. And we are saying that construction estimating is the process of forecasting the total cost required to build or renovate a structure, including materials, labor, equipment, and overheads. It improves a financial roadmap before work begins. That is helping clients and contractors plan budgets, assess feasibility, and make informed decisions. Okay, yes, basically, construction estimation helps you to be able to know the costs involved in what taking on a construction project. Okay, yes, the cost that will be involved. Yes, that is all what it's trying to talk about. So after you are done with your measurement of construction work, then you should know that your estimation is your next thing you are supposed to do. Okay, yes. So let's look at some important of estimating. Estimation is used for budget control, visibility check, client confidence, competitive bidding, and also resource planning. Okay, and under the budget control, it is used in preventing overspending by setting clear financial expectation. It is used to what? Prevent overspending by setting clear financial expectation. For feasibility checks, it helps determine if a project is financially viable. Okay. And client confidence, in terms of client confidence, it provides transparency and build trust with stakeholders. When we say a stakeholder is a group, an individual, or an organization that has vested interest, okay, in a project, whereby he or she is affected by that project. Okay. Yes. If I say he or she is affected, it can either be good or negative. Yes, that is it. And for competitive bidding, it ensures accurate estimates. That is, it allows contractors to submit realistic bids. Yes, they're able to calculate equally. Okay. Yes, if it is at the end of the day, if it is 70 cities that is going to reach, the calculating is going to tell that this is the actual money that is supposed to reach for the work. Yes, and it also helps in resource planning. That is, it guides allocation of manpower, material, and equipment. Autodesk. Okay. Yes. So construction estimating actually evolved gradually as builders and engineers sought ways to predict costs for major projects. Good. The practice dates back thousands of years from ancient civilization to modern surveying and cost engineering. Let's look at some historical roots of construction estimating, how it came about. In ancient civilization, or even during the construction of the Egyptian pyramid and Roman aqueduct, master builders had to anticipate resource, labor, and time. These were early form of cost estimation, though largely empirical linked. Okay, so look at this. Have a look at this. You can see that this is a pyramid. Okay, this is a pyramid, and the idea of estimating contributed greatly to this. Okay, yes. So this is the Egyptian pyramid, and it was constructed around this year. Okay, yes. That is the 2630s to 2500 BCE. Okay, yes. BCE means before Common Era. All right. And this is the Roman aqueduct. You see how it also looks like. Yes. So the idea of estimating also contributed largely and greatly to the building of this. Okay. So estimating has been there for a very long time. It's not something new. If people were able to do it, it means that we can also be able to do it. Yes. So let's look at some possible examination questions that we may come across in estimating. Okay. Yes. As we have discussed earlier, you can meet a question that can ask you what is estimating. Estimating is actually the process of making an appropriate judgment of or calculation about the value, size, quantity, or cost of something based on available information, experience, or observations. Yes. Let's take it one more last time again. Estimation is the process of making appropriate judgment or calculation about the value, size, quantity, or cost of something based on available information, experience, or observations. Okay. And our question 2 says that list 5 types of estimating. List 5 types of estimates. We have the rough order of magnitude estimate. We have the bottom up estimate. We have the parametric estimate and also the analogous estimate. You should be able to tell a layman when you are being asked by him or her to give you some types of estimates. At least you should be able to tell the person something to put him or her in a place. Okay. Yes, being able to tell him or her that we have the bottom up estimate and also the analogous estimate and also the bottom down the estimate. It is also a good startup. Okay. Yes, at least the person would have also learned something from you. Yes. The question 3, how are estimates prepared? Discussed. Estimates are prepared through a systematic process that involves gathering relevant data, applying estimation method, and refining the estimate as more information become available. The step-by-step process include 1, defining the scope and requirements, gathering information, determining estimating and methodology, determine estimating methodology, identifying and quantity resource, estimate cost, and also review and refine. Yes. Today we are in the world of AI and learning is not much difficult. Better still, you can do more research at your end to also enhance your understanding. And I believe that will be much more better. Don't rely on the teaching or learning material that is being provided to you alone. It is always good to do more research elsewhere, as that is always going to broaden or enlarge your understanding. All right. List Our question 4 says that we should list 10 professionals who prepare estimates. Okay. Yes, estimates can be prepared by quantity surveyors. We are actually quantity surveyors because we are reading building technology. At the end of the day, we are going to end up becoming quantity surveyors. Okay. That is why measurement of construction works is something we have to take very, 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 very serious. If your background is weak in measurement of construction works, it means that you may struggle in the future. Okay. Yes. So the 10 professionals who prepare estimates can be what? Quantity surveyors, project manager, cost estimates, let's say engineers, architects, data analysts, financial analysts, construction managers, or even operation research analysts. Okay. Yes. Accountants can also do estimates. Exactly. Okay. So at least you should be able to mention 5. Yes. Without watching into any material. Yes. Okay. List 5 duties of estimators. List 5 details of estimators. Someone may say estimators, the type of estimators that we spoke about, or the people who prepare estimates we just spoke about. And now we are saying that we should list 5 duties of estimators. what are actually the work that these estimators do? They actually do data collection and analysis. They also do estimation and cost calculation. Okay. Also, they do risk assessment and contingency planning. Okay. They also report preparation and presentation, and also they also do estimates review and revision. These are some of the work of the estimators. These are some of the work of the estimators, the project managers, the architects, the engineers, and the rest. Okay, okay. So when are estimates prepared? Our question says that when are estimates prepared? Estimates are usually prepared before the commencement of any project. That is, it could be a pre-construction project, ongoing project, post-project, or initiation stage project. All right. Question 7 says list 5 members of the design team. List 5 members of the design team. And the design team, you always have to list them in order. Okay. If you don't list them in the right order, you are going to be in trouble. Okay. Everything is going to be wrong. Okay. And for the design member, it always starts from the overall boss to the list. Yes. So the first one is the project uh, manager. Okay. The first one is the project manager. And then the second one is the architect. Okay. These are the design teams. The second one is the architect. And the third one could either be the civil engineer or the structure engineer. Okay. Yes. After that, a service engineer has to come. When we say someone is a service engineer is the plumber or even the electrician. Okay, that those are the services. Yes, in building services, one, you are going to do plumbing works. In building services, two, is mainly about electricity. So that is when you hear something services, it is actually about the plumbing works and the electrical works. Yes, so these are the service engineers. Okay, and also the geotechnical engineers. These are, let me say, the surveyors, the land surveyors. Exactly, exactly. If if we were asked to mention six, then it means that our next person will be the what quantity surveyor, which is we. Okay, so you see where we have been placed. We are the quantity surveyors. You see where we have been placed at the list. Yes, before any even other person follow. Okay, so it starts from the project manager. He is the overall boss, and then at the end of the day, the architect is going to do the drawing. The civil engineer is going to do the structure works. Okay, the structure drawings and all that, and check whether the buildings are determinate, statically indeterminate, unstable, and all that. It's going to calculate the deflection and all those bending moments and shear forces in the beams. Okay, to make sure that everything is on point before the structure is erected. The service engineer is also going to perform his miracles, and then the geotechnical engineer is also going to come. Okay, so the question is list 5 members of the design team. Good. Look at this question too. It said list 5 members of the construction team. Don't get confused. They are all the same thing. They are all the same thing. Okay, yes. So that is, as I told you, the project manager, the architect, the civil engineer, or the structure engineer, the service engineer, and also the geotechnical engineer. They are all the same thing. Okay, good. What are preliminary items? Our question 9 says, what are preliminary items? Preliminary items refer to the initial or preparatory elements that are necessary before proceeding with a main task, project, or process. An example of a preliminary item could include if you are going to build for someone, you have to do site visits and go and check a lot of things. Okay. At the end of the day, if you are going to check the site, you are not going to go there with your money. You have to take money from the person. Okay. Yes. So That is an example of a preliminary items. Okay, yes. The food you buy, the water you drink, all those things are the preliminary items. They are actually the costs that you incur, which are not even associated with the main tax. You realize at the end of the main tax is the building itself. Oh. By the spendings you are doing, those spendings that you do that are not associated with the main work are what is known as the what preliminary items. Yes. Okay. So come and see. List 20 preliminary items. That is our question 10. We have the project proposal, feasibility study, business case, project charter, project schedule, risk management, work structure, and also resource allocation plan. Okay. We also have the stakeholder analysis. We have the budget estimate and all of that. Okay. Good. Let's look at the question 11. List 20 jobs that subcontractors do. When we say someone is a subcontractor, they are people, okay, or specialists that or they can be a group or even an organization or an individual, okay, yes, that have certain specialties in the specific part of the work that the main contractor does not have, okay, yes, they have specific skills that the main contractor does not have. So those kind of or a type of or an example of a subcontractor is a plumber, a mason, a carpenter, or even an electrician. Okay, yes, all the people who do painting and all that, they are subcontractors. Okay, yes. So if we are saying the jobs that subcontractors do, you should just be aware, and that is one, they do electrical work, they do plumbing work, mason work, waterproofing, steel erection, painting, glazing, roofing, insulation. They do concrete finishes, carpentry, slight installation, and also drywall installation and all that. Okay, good. List 5 benefits of estimates. At the end of the day, when we do estimates, what can we achieve from the estimate? It informs decision making. It also controls the budget. Okay, and also it improves communication. It improves communication. It reduces real work and it improves project planning and also schedules. Who is a subcontractor? Just as I told you initially, a subcontractor is a person or company that have special skills in certain aspects of a construction project. Okay, who is hired by a main contractor to carry out part of a larger project that the main contractor no have not specialized in. Yes. So that is a subcontractor. Because at the end of the day, see, the main contractor cannot hold or will not go and hold all that he's doing plastering or laying block. No, 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 no. You rather take a subcontractor to come and do it and pay him. You understand? All right. So our question 14 says list and explain the type of subcontractor. Basically, we have two types of subcontractors. We have the domestic subcontractor and also the nominated subcontractor. We have the domestic subcontractor and also the nominated subcontractor. Who is a domestic subcontractor? A domestic subcontractor is a type of contractor appointed directly by the main contractor without the client's involvement. Okay, so if the main contractor appoints the subcontractor, then he becomes a domestic subcontractor. Okay, yes, by a nominated subcontractor is for the nominated subcontractor is a type of contractor appointed by clients, okay, or architect or even the consultant, but engaged through the main contractor. You see, so at the end of the day, if it is not the main contractor that appointed you there, then you are a nominated subcontractor. Yes, good. So list 10 stakeholders in the construction industry. Stakeholder, as I told you, a stakeholder can be a group, an individual, or an organization, okay, that have what vested interest in an asset whereby they may also be affected by the what losses or wins of that asset. Yes. So at the end of the day, the security man is a stakeholder. If the project is going on, he will benefit. If the project stops, he can lose his work. So you see, so he's a stakeholder. The people who come and sell and go, the people who bring cars to deliver items and all that, they are all examples of stakeholders. Good. List 10 stakeholder in the construction industry. The project owner is a stakeholder, the architect, because at the end of the day, they are all benefiting from the job. The engineer is a stakeholder, even the local communities, people living around, they are stakeholders. Yes, the suppliers and also the government agency, the people who come to write on the buildings, they are also stakeholders because at the end of the day, you see that they are also being affected. Exactly. List 5 duties of quantity surveyors. They do cost estimation. We are the quantity surveyors. They do cost estimation. They are responsible for tender documents. They do contract administration. They also measure and they do measurements and quantification. You see, as I told you, measurements. All right. What is unit cost? Unit cost is actually the ratio of total cost to total quantity. Or unit cost is the total expense incurred to produce, store, or sell 1 unit of a product or service. Okay, so just have a look at this. We have a question. It says a company produce 70,000 units at a cost of 140,000. Determine the unit cost. Determine the unit cost. Good. So in our given, we have to bring out the information. And the total cost that was given to us was 140,000. This is what I've written it over here. And the total quantity, as we know, is 70,000. Our solution, if we are saying that unit cost is the ratio of total cost to total quantity, it is mean that this is the total cost over the total quantity. You see, so that's what the explanation means. Ratio means something over something. So you can see over here, total cost over total quantity is the same thing. You just a matter of substitution. Then you get your answer, you are good to go. Always remember to leave your answer in 2 decimal places. Always remember to leave your answer in 2 decimal places. All right. What is depreciation? Depreciation is actually the decrease in value of an asset over its useful life due to wear and tear. In brief, that is the definition for depreciation. Yes, or it is the loss of, or it is the loss in value of an asset due to what? Wear and tear. Okay. List 5 method of depreciation. We have the straight line method, double declining balance method, unit of production method, declining, and all of some. So you will also be meeting this in site organization. Okay. Yes. Question 21. List 4 major resources in construction. We have the materials. These are all the M. They're actually 5 M's. Okay. So please look for the last one and come and tell me. Okay. Look for the last one and come and tell me. Look for the last one and come and tell me. So list 4 major resources used in construction. One, we have the material. We also use money for building. We also use the manpower. We use machine. And what is the last one? The last one is the management expertise, the professionals that we use for the work. Management expertise. All right. List 5 example each of these major resources. So the material we mentioned, you see, could either be cement, aggregate, steel, wood, and a lot. Okay, the money can either be you go and take money from loan, or you go and take, let's say, loan from bank. Okay, let's say you go and take loan from bank. and use it to build, or you go for insurance, or even you go and sign bonds or government grants. Okay, these are some examples. When we say money, it's a major resources. Okay, and the manpower, the masons, electricians, engineers, architects, and plumbers we use. Okay, for the machinery, they are the forklift, mixer, excavators, cranes, and bulldozers. List 5 challenges involved in preparing estimates. One, they are there are complexity and variability. Two, there is time constraint and resource limitation. Three, there is inaccurate or incomplete data. Four, there are risks and uncertainties. Five, it involves technology advancement or innovation. Question 24. List two types of subcontractors you know, just as we have discussed already. All right. I think we've also spoken about this already. All right. The job. So the jobs that the subcontractors do to, I think we have already spoken about that. Who is a nominated supplier? This is a different word. A nominated supplier. A nominated supplier is a supplier who is specifically selected or appointed by the client. You see, if he was appointed by let me say the main contractor, he would have become a domestic supplier. But because it's the client that appointed him, he has become a nominated. Okay. A nominated supplier is a supplier who is specifically selected or appointed by the client, okay, or project owner to provide good and services for a particular project. To provide goods and services for a particular project. List 5 benefits of site visits. What are some of the benefits of site visits? It improves the understanding of the site condition. It enhances communication and collaboration. It aids in the determination of the topography of the site. It also helps to verify the availability of labor and also aid to know the taboos governing the sites. All right. Question 29. What are the current trends in estimation? When we say current trend in estimation, they are actually the things that can actually be used to solve estimation. Okay. Yes, current trends. What are the current trends in estimation? Now you can see that estimation, we can use indices to get the answers of estimation questions. You can use formulas, you can use the internet, you can even use computer software, you can even use artificial intelligence, AI. Now we're in the world of AI. You see how the world is. Yes. So with time, I'm sure more are going to be added. Okay. So these are the current trends in estimation. If we say current, something that is ongoing now, that is the use of indices, the use of formulas, the use of internet, the use of computer software, and the use of artificial intelligence. What is procurement? Procurement is the process of acquiring goods, services of work from external source, typically through a competitive bidding process. Procurement is the process of acquiring goods, services, or works from external source, typically through a competitive bidding process. Yes. So this lists 5 major resources used in construction. Just as we discussed earlier, we have money, manpower, material. Also, we have the machinery, etc., 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 etc. So I think we are done with this slide. We have to move to a different slide and also look at some calculations as well, since we have done a bit of the theory. Okay. So We want to look at some possible um, calculation estimating exam questions. Okay. Yes, so they are all past questions, and once uh, they have come before, it means that you can still meet them again. At this point, I'll urge each and every one of us to take our jotters. If you have a pen, a paper, if it's even if it will be helpful, get a book and a pen. Okay, so that as I write, you can also be able to jot down some important points. Okay, that can aid your understanding. Yes, if you don't do that, you realize that at the end of the day, you are going to forget most of the things that are going to be taught. But when you're able to write something at least, uh, it is also a different form of learning on its own. Yes. Okay. So get a book by your side so that as I teach and make reference to some important points, you can also jot them down. Thank you very much. All right. So our question one says that a plot of area 2000 meters squared is to be cleared by using a plant with an output of 1000 meters squared per day. Determine the duration. Okay, so when you see the question like this, you don't need to get scared. Okay, the first thing you need to do is just try and put down your given. Okay, so let's write our given. Let's write our given. And in the given, we have a plot of area. So this is our area of plot is equal to 2000 meters squared. Good. Is to be cleared by using a plant with an output of. So this is the output. Output. And the output is equal to 1000 meters squared per day. All right. So they say we should find our duration. We don't know the duration. The duration is unknown. The duration is unknown. So we put question mark over there. All right. So as I told you, this is our area. So we are done bringing out the given. We have to move to our solution and then we solve the work. All right. So this is our solution. In our solution, we are saying that our duration is equal to what? Total quantity over the daily output. Okay. Total quantity over the output. Take a note or bear in mind that the total quantity is the same as the hot area. Okay. So this is the same as the hot total quantity. All right. So our duration is equal to total quantity over the output. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is our duration is equal to, by substitution, we just have to input The total quantity was 2,000 meters squared. So this is 2,000. And then the output was 1,000 meters squared per day. 1,000 meters squared per day. So at the end of the day, what is going to happen? You realize that this meter squared is going to cancel this meter squared. So at the end of the day, um, three zeros can also take care of three zeros. Three zeros can also take care of three zeros. So finally, you realize that we are having on just 2 days. So we can say that therefore, our duration or D is equal to 2 days. All right. Our duration now is equal to what? 2 days. So you see that it's not anything difficult. After putting down the given, all you need to know is that your area is the same as your total quantity. The formula is total quantity over the output, or total quantity over the daily output. So it will take 2 days to clear the 2,000 meter square plot using the plant width. Let's say 1,000 meters squared per day output. Okay. So let's look at our question 2 and see how best we can be able to solve this two. Our question 2 says that a pit of dimension 10 meters by 8 meters by 10-meter deep is to be excavated manually. Is to be excavated manually, meaning that they are not going to use machine to dig the hole. They're going to look for people, manpower. They give them pickers to come and dig. Yes. If the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 150, determine the unit cost. Determine the unit cost. How much will they pay one person? Yes, how much will they pay one person? A pit of size 10 by 8 by 3 deep is to be excavated manually. If the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 150 per day, determine the unit cost. All right, so let's start. So this is our given. Okay. So let's quickly bring down the given, and then we see how best we can be able to travel. We see how best we can be able to travel. So this is our dimension, and our dimension is equal to, let's say, 10 meters by 8 meters by 3 meters. Also, they say it should be excavated manually. The output is equal to 3 meter cube per day. You see that this one, the output have changed. Okay. All right. So after writing the output, the daily wage. So the daily wage, and our daily wage is equal to 150 Ghana cedis. the daily wage is equal to 150. Okay, per day. Determine the unit cost. So the unit cost is the only person we don't know over here. No. Okay. And there are a whole lot of process to calculate for the unit cost. So this kind of question is not just that straight. Okay. Okay. So let's move to our solution. All right. So let's proceed. So in the solution, first of all, but let me show you something before we continue, okay? Look at, this is the step that is used to calculate the unit cost, okay? One, first of all, you have to analyze the problem. You have to analyze the problem. Secondly, you have to what? Find for the total quantity. Then third step, you have to calculate your duration. Remember that it is always calculated in days. Then the fourth one is that you come and calculate your all right. So you after you analyze the problem, you have to find the total quantity. Okay. Then after calculating the total quantity, you come and calculate the duration. Then after calculating the duration, come and calculate the total cost. After calculating the total cost, you come and calculate the unit cost. Okay. You come and calculate your unit cost. So that is how it is. The total quantity can either be in meter squared or meter cube. Okay. Depending on it being area or um, volume respectively. Okay. Remember I told you that the duration is calculated in days, and also the total cost there, as you know, is calculated in currency. Okay. Yes. Also, you finally come and calculate for your unit cost. Remember that it should always be in two decimal places, and you add your per unit. Okay. So the unit in some questions may be provided. If you know, you have to use it. All right, let's proceed. So in our step one, we said that first of all, what do we have to do? We say what do we have to do? We have to calculate for, we have already analyzed the problem. So the next thing we're supposed to do is that we have to calculate our total quantity now. So our total quantity, our total quantity is equal to, let's check the output. Since the output is 3 meters cube, it means that it is surely the volume we are going to use, and that is 10 meters times 8 times 3. Okay, so that is 10 times 8 times 3. At the end of the day, what are we going to get? At the end of the day, you realize that we are going to be getting 240 meter cube. Okay, let me quickly add the unit to them so that at the end of the day, you can have a better view of the answer. Okay, that is 10 meter times 8 meters times 3 meters. Okay, so we are going to get 240 meter cube. That is for the total quantity. We are done with our total quantity. We are done with our total quantity. So what is the next thing we have to solve for? We have to come and find for our duration. Okay. We have to now come and calculate for our duration. So we are going to say that our duration, as we know already, our duration is equal to our what? Total quantity all over the daily output. So at the end of the day, by substitution, what are we going to get for the duration? The daily output was given, the daily output, the daily output was given to be 3 meter cube per day. All right. So when you divide the 240 meter cube by the output, you realize that you are going to get 80 days. Okay. So this meter cube will cancel this meter cube. And at the end of the day, you realize that our duration is going to become 80 days. Our duration is now going to become 80 days. 80 days. Okay. So after calculating for that, our next thing we're supposed to do is to go and calculate for our total cost. Okay, and the total cost is equal to what? The duration times the high rate. Our total cost is equal to the duration times the high rate. So this is our total cost. The total cost is equal to duration times the high rate. Okay. So at the end of the day, we can say that our total cost is equal to what? 80. 80 days times the high rate. And the high rate is what? 150 Ghana cedis. So we want to know the total cost. That is the number of days you'll be working times the what? The high rate. Yes. So if you multiply 80 times 150, at the end of the day, this is per day. You realize that this is going to the per day is going to take care of the day. Okay, and then at the end of the day, our answer is going to be left in what? Currency. To showing that it is money. Showing that it is money. Okay. So at the end of the day, we're going to get 12,000. All right. So as you can see, We are done calculating for our total cost. Finally, the last thing we can do now is to only come and calculate for our unit cost finally. Then we can say that we are done with our question 2. Okay, so our unit cost, our unit cost, our unit cost, we can say that the unit cost is equal to the total cost all over the total quantity. So the unit cost is equal to the total cost all over the total quantity. Good. So our unit cost over here is equal to, what is the value of our total cost? What is the value of our total quantity? Our total quantity, I remember it was 240 meter cube. That is after we multiply the 10, after we multiply the 10 times 8 times 3 meters. Okay, good. So at the end of the day, our money was 12,000. So at the end of the day, if you point this, if you quickly point this into the calculator, you're going to get 50 Ghana cedis per meter cube. Okay, let's say 1 meter cube here now. 50 cedis no many. You understand? Yes, so this is it. 50.002 decimal places per meter cube. All right. So we'll be looking at our next question. Let's quickly look at our next question. So this is our final answer. Okay. So let's look at our question 3. Our question 3 says that a pit of dimension, a pit of dimension, let's say 10 meter by 8 meter by 3 meter deep is to be excavated manually. If the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 150, determine the unit. It's just like the one we just solved now. Okay, that question is just like this one. So I think there will be no need to go over it again, but rather I would rather take my time to number this one. Yes, let's take this question again. A pit of dimension 10 meters by 8 meter by 3 meter deep is to be excavated manually. If the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 150, determine the unit cost. That is the cost of the single unit. Okay, yes. But the whole thing is big. The whole thing is 240 meter cube. Nti ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo yi just a meter cube bi ana sɛn na ɔwɔ so ɔmo tua sɛ wate ma se. And at the end of the day, you realize that it was what 50 cedis per meter cube. Yes, now you say ɔmo yi 1 meter cube bi ana ɔmo 50 cedis. That is the meaning. A pit of dimension 10 meter cube, a pit of dimension 10 meter by 8 meter by 3 meter deep is to be excavated manually if the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 150 Ghana cedis per day. Determine the unit cost. First of all, what did we do? We analyze the problem and then we have now placed it in the given. Okay, given is where we remove all the valid information from the work and then we present it on the what worksheet. Yes. So you can see where all conditions are still the same. Is the unit cost they say we should find. Okay. So this is our step one. Our step one. And in the step one, you saw what we calculated for. We calculated for the total quantity. We calculated for the total quantity. That is, we said the total quantity is the same as the what? The volume or even the area. In this case, we say the total quantity is the same as the volume because it is meter cube. If it is meter cube, you know you are talking about volume. Okay, good. Then your step two, you come and talk about in your step two, you come and calculate your duration. In your step two, you come and calculate your duration. Good. Then in your step three, then in your step three, you calculate for your total cost. Okay. In step three, you calculate for the total cost and also uh, in step four. Okay, so in your step four, you calculate for your unit cost as you can see, finally. Okay, so I just divided it into steps. Step one, you calculate for your total quantity. What you see as we calculated over here, we had 240 meter cube and the duration. We said the duration is equal to the total quantity over the daily output. Duration is equal to the total quantity over the daily output. And that is going to give you what 240 meter cube over what the daily output, just as you are seeing. At the end of the day, you're going to get 80 days. Your total cost is equal to the duration times high rate. Okay, very simple. Then at the end of the day, you come and calculate for your unit cost. All right. So since our question three and our question two are the same, let's move to question four. Let's move to question four. Let's move to question four. Okay. In our question four says that a trench, a trench 6 meter by 1 meter by 0.9 deep is to be excavated manually. If the output of the labor is 3 meter cube per day and the daily wage is 1 to determine the unit cost, how do you go about it? Just also like the other one we solved. So first of all, we have to write our out given. Good. So this is the dimension. It to be excavated manually if the output to our output is now equal to, let's say, 3 meter cube per day. All right. So that is our output and also the daily wage. So our daily wage is equal to 150 Ghana cedis per day. Okay, that means that the whole of the day, is just 150 for the labor. Good. Determine the unit cost. So unit cost is what we don't know. So how do we go about it? We have to start from our solution. Yes. All right. So what's the first thing we're supposed to do? We're supposed to calculate for our total quantity. The total quantity. That is the first thing we're supposed to calculate for. Okay. The total quantity. And that is obviously going to be a volume. Okay. If you check, that is obviously going to be a volume. So 6 times 1, let's say 6 meters times 1 meters times 0.9. Let's all practice that together. And at the end of the day, you realize that it is going to become meter cube, because we said that in indices, if the bases are the same and they are multiplying, we add the exponent. We add the exponent. So in doing so, we are going to get 5.4 meter cube. We're going to get 5.4 meter cube, and that now becomes your total quantity. That is after we analyze the problem. What are we supposed to do? We calculate total quantity. After total quantity, what are we supposed to do next? The next thing is what? Duration. And our duration, as we discussed earlier, we said our duration is equal to the total quantity over the what? Daily output. So this is our total quantity over daily output. That is for the duration. Okay. Finally, we can say that our duration is equal to the daily output was 3 meter cube per day as usual, and the total quantity was 5.4 meter cube. 5.4 meter cube. At the end of the day, you're going to get 1.8, because if you divide 5.4 by 3, you're going to get 1.8. Okay, good. Look at what is going to happen over here. You realize that over here, this guy is going to take all of this guy. Okay, so at the end of the day, our answer is going to be 1.8 day. So therefore, our duration finally our duration is equal to 1.8 day. 1.8 day. Okay. So after calculating for the duration, what are we supposed to do next? We are now supposed to come and calculate for our total cost. Okay. We are now supposed to come and calculate for our total cost. And the total cost, just as we said earlier, equal to the duration times high rate. Just as we discussed earlier, our total cost always equal to the duration times high rate. So let's proceed. Now we can say that our total cost is equal to 1.8 day times the high rate, which is 150. All right. So you can quickly point this. I'm also going to try it together. But at the end of the day, our total cost is going to be equal to, the answer is definitely going to be in money, okay? Because you realize at the end of the day, this one is going, this guy, we're going to cancel this guy, okay? So at the end of the day, that is what left our answer to be in money. If you multiply 1.8 times, let's say 150, you're going to get 270. Okay, so the answer is going to be 270. Okay, so this is the total cost. This is the total cost. This is the total cost. And then after calculating the total cost, we can now come and calculate our unit cost. Yes, so we can say that our unit cost is equal to the total cost over total quantity. So the unit cost, as we said earlier, is equal to the total cost over the total quantity. So finally, by substitution, you can just quickly substitute and then you get the answer. Okay. So we can say that finally our unit cost is equal to we had 5.4 for the total quantity meter cube, and the total cost 270. Okay. So at the end of the day, if you divide 270, 270 divided by 5.4, you're going to get 50. Okay. And the 50 is now going to become your unit cost. So I can say that therefore, so this is how it should be like. Okay. Your answer should always be in two decimal places. You have to repeat the CD to show that it is money because nothing cancel nothing. So it has to show in it live. Okay. Yes. So this is the answer you're going to get for the unit cost. That is the answer you're going to get for the unit cost. Okay. Let's pick up one last more question. Let's pick one last more question. Let's pick one last more question. Let's look at question 5. Question 5 says that a plot. Question 5. Here is supposed to be 2. Okay. I think I made a mistake when I was typing. A plot of size 400 mm by 200. A plot of size 400 meter by 200 meter is to be cleared. This time they want to just read it all. They want to read it. And reading is done in area. Measurement of construction works. Okay. If the output of the plant is, let's say, 100 or let's say 1,000 meters squared per day, it means that this time they don't want to use caterpillars to read it. They are not going to use human beings. So they want to use a plant to just come and the whole place. Okay. Yes. And then the area is going to be 80,000. So since you are looking at the area, it's a very big plot, 80,000 meters square. Then it means that they need a plant, and the plant that they're going to use is 1,000 meters squared per day. Okay, that is the output of the plant. The whole day, it can read the one unit baku 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 sa 1,000. So sa 80 no. When you multiply yes, you I will explain to you when I solve and you will get more understanding. So that is how this question is also like. So first of all, we have to put down our given just as usual. This is our given. So this is our size of plot, and the size of plot is equal to, let's say, 400 by 400 meters by 200 meters. Okay. And also the output. This is the output of plant. output of plants equal to 1,000 meters squared per day. And also, after calculating or writing down your output of the plant, um, you have to also write down the high rate, okay, or the daily wage. They are the same thing. So your high rate is now equal to 40,000 or 4,000 per day. The plant is going to be receiving 4,000 per day. All right. Okay. So this is 4,000. Okay. And that is for the high rate. Okay. Per day. And now the question is really telling us fine for the, let's say, the unit cost. So our unit cost is what we don't know. The unit cost is what we say we don't know. So our unit cost question mark. Now we can move to our solution and solve quick. Then we are done. So this is my solution. So first of all, we have to calculate for the total quantity. So the total quantity is equal to 400 meters times 200. And at the end of the day, we're going to get our total quantity to 80,000 meters squared. Okay. So that is our total quantity. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to solve for the duration. And our duration, just as we said earlier, is equal to the total quantity over the daily output. So this is our total quantity. All right. So let's do our substitution quick, and let's wrap up. So our duration is now going to become what? The total quantity we had, 80,000 meters squared, all over the output. And the output of the plant was what? 1,000 meters squared per day. So you see, at the end of the day, our days are going to obviously be just 80 days. Okay. So if all these zero come and cancel all these zero, we're just going to be left with 80 days. Okay. Bear in mind that this one is in meter cube, meter squared. So that is going to make them cancel out. This guy is in meter hot squared. It's for its area. Yes, this area. Okay. So finally, we consider our duration. Therefore, our duration is equal to 80 days. Okay, so now let's go and calculate for our total cost. So at the end of the day, we just have to do substitution. We realize that our total cost is now going to be equal to just as we were doing for the initial ones. Yes, so 80. Okay, 80 day times what? The high rate. The high rate, what is the value for the high rate? 4,000. 4,000 per day. So we realize that that makes the days cancel out. And finally, I consider my total quantity is going to be equal to 2,000. Okay. All right. So after calculating for your total cost, this is supposed to be cost. So this is supposed to be cost. After calculating for your total cost, we come to the unit cost now. So the unit cost also has a different approach. Yes. So we say that our unit cost, the unit cost is equal to total cost over total quantity. So by substitution, when we do substitution, we're going to get the answers. Okay. I'm sure by now Each and every one of us should or must have understand this or understood this better. Better still, if you have any challenges or you have any question, you can put it in the comment section and I will review that for you. Don't forget to like the video, share, and also subscribe to my channel. Yes, so that I really need your feedback too, so that it can help me to be able to build on the upcoming videos so that they can be more effective. If you don't give me any comment, any feedback or nothing, you realize that at the end of the day, everything is just going to be one way. It's not going to be dynamic. Okay. So I need your feedbacks and reaction. Thank you. So the total cost, our total quantity that we had was 80,000. And the total cost is 32,000. So at the end of the day, we can let 3 zeros cancel 3 zeros. What are we left with? We're left with 32 over 80. That is going to give us a very small or minimum value. But this value is not supposed to be 32,000, but actually it's supposed to be 320,000. Yes, it's supposed to be 320,000. After multiplying these two, it's supposed to be 320,000. So this is 320,000. Good. And also, let me correct this over here. Good. So this take care of this. At the end of the day, 320 divided by 80, which is going to give us 4. Okay. So finally, we can say that our unit was 240. 4.00 per meter cube. 4.00 per meter cube. Yes, 4.00 Ghana cedis um, per meter squared. Okay. If it is per meter squared we were using, then it's supposed to be per meter squared. Oh. This is it was per meter squared. So let's maintain that. It's supposed to be per meter squared. Yes. Okay. Okay. So basically, this is how far we have come. This is how far we have come. Let's see if we can still take one last more question. All right. This question says that a watchman receives a watchman receives 1,000 cedis as his monthly salary every month. If the project lasted for 27 months, how much did he receive? So this is how to go about this problem. First of all, you have to try and pull down your given. Okay, so this is your given. Good. A watchman receives his monthly salary, or a watchman receive, let's say, 1,000 cedis as his monthly salary. So 1 month, every 1 month, he gets what? 1,000 cedis. Every 1 month, he gets 1,000 cedis. Okay, at his monthly salary every month. If the project lasted for 27 months, so in this case, you say 27 months, how much did he receive? So if the project lasted for 27 months, the amount he received, we didn't know. Okay, so we put question mark over there. So now let's go to our solution and see how best we can be able to solve the work. Good. So we said that in 1 month, he receives 1,000 Ghana cedis. Okay. So 27 months is what we don't know. With a matter of cross multiplication, we can get that. Okay. So in this case, we can represent it by x. Okay, let's just represent it by x. And we can perform some cross multiplications. And then we see how best we can be able to get some answers. Okay, yes. So at the end of the day, x times 1 month. So this is what? X times 1 month. So this is equal to 27 months times the 1,000 cedis. So at the end of the day, you realize that we are going to get what? Xn. If you see dot, it means multiplication, which is equal to 27 times 1,000. What is that going to give you? 27 times 1,000. That is 27 times 1,000. You're going to get 27,000. Okay. So you're going to get 27,000 meter. Okay, the meter is still following it. All over what? But we are saying that we want the x to stand alone. Okay, so in that case, if we divide here by meters, and we divide here by meter, this will cancel this. And this one will also what? Cancel this. So at the end of the day, we can say that our x is equal to what? At the end of the 27 months, we're going to receive what? 2,000 or 27,000. So at the end of the day, the watchman received 27,000 at the end of um 27 months. Okay, that is how to go about such a question. That is how to go about such a question. If you have any question to ask, please you can type it into the comment section. I'll go through them and I'll surely give you a feedback. Okay, yes, I'll surely give you a feedback. questions are very, very much important. Your feedbacks are very, very much essential because those are the things that help me to be able to know what to work on and what I'm not supposed to work on my next videos. Thank you. So we are done with this problem, and then you see how we see how we're able to solve it. Say a watchman received 1,000 cedis as his monthly salary every month. If the project lasted for 27, but how much did he receive? It's a matter of multiplication. Okay, all right. So since this is our example 6 we looked at, let's look at example 7. For the questions there, I have so many questions for us to solve. Yes, so don't worry at all. Question 7. An access road is 2 kilometers. An access road is 2 km. An access road is 2 km. Given that the cost per kilometer is 1.6 million, determine the total cost of the road. You see such a question, how do you go about it? Okay. So first of all, we have to start from our given. So this is our given. All right. And length of access road. Let's say that our length of access road is equal to 2 km. Also, given that the cost per kilometer is 1.6 million, so cost per kilometer, the cost per kilometer is equal to so what I've written over the 1.6 million. That is what I'm still going to rewrite. In my next, it's still the same thing, okay, but just that it can't go. So I just have to find a way of uh putting it to make sure that you still don't. Yeah. So the 1.6 million you are seeing there is the same as this. I'm still writing over here. Okay. Yes, and it is the same as 1 comma 6 uh, all right. All right. So now they say that we are supposed to calculate for the whole total cost. And the total cost is what we don't know. An access road is 2 km, given that the cost per kilometer is 1.6. If the cost of 1 kilometer, okay, is 1.6, determine the total cost of the road. So you see, it's just a matter of cross multiplication as we were doing to the initial one. So when we realize that life is going to be much more easier. So this is our solution. Good. We are saying that if 1 km is equal to, let's see, if 1 km is equal to 16 million or 1.6 million, then it means that our 2 km is going to be equal to X, since we don't know this one. So that's going to be the total cost for the 2 km road. With a matter of cost multiplication, you should be able to get the answer. Okay. Yes. So if 1 km is equal to what? 1.6 million, then 2 km is equal to what? X. You don't know. So with a matter of cross multiplication, you'll be able to get the answer. If you're able to do that very well, at the end of it, you're going to get your X to be equal to this. Okay. That is, you are going to get 2 km multiplying 16, 1.6 million. So at the end of the day, you realize that you're going to get 32 or 3.2 million. Okay. You're going to get 3.2 million. All right. So that is the total cost of the 2 km road. Okay. That is the total cost of the 2 km road. So we are done with question 7. We are done with question 7. Let's see if we can do something about question 8 before we wrap up for the day. This is our question 8. This is our question 8, which I wish we could solve. And then later, in our next lectures, we'll see how we can play with depreciation. Yes, in the next estimation video I'm going to be doing, I'm going to play with depreciation and also this kind of problems. Okay, we're going to talk about the hoarding and then the rest. Okay, so do all to watch this very lecture video to the end. I don't want it to be too long, so do all to watch this one to the end. And then the next one I'm going to be doing is going to be more technical than this one. This one is just the basics, to give you the basics so that at the end of the day, um, if the fundamentals are weak, and same ways to expose you Exactly. All right. All right. So let's quickly finish this question and then we wrap up for the day. A plot of size 100 meter by 70 meter is to be excavated up to a depth of 300 mm. Given that the output of the machine is 500 meters squared per day and the high rate is let's say 3,000 per day, calculate the volume. Also, I calculate the volume and I estimate the unit cost. Okay, good. A plot of size is to be excavated. So this time they want to use the machine, they want to use the plant. Okay, they don't want to use manpower. They don't want someone to use PS come and hit the floor, back, back, back. They want to use the plant and machinery. So you see the output it is providing, a very big output. Okay, so let's quickly start from our given and let's see how best we can be able to solve the problem. So this is my given. This is my given. Okay. A plot of size. So plot of size. So we say size of plot. Size of plot. And the size of the plot is equal to 100 meter by 70 meter. Okay. A depth of excavation. So this is the depth. Take note that the depth of the excavation was given in what millimeters, but it will have to be converted to meters before it can be used. Yes, it have to be converted into meters before it can be used. Other than that, if you don't do the conversion and use it, you are going to face a lot of challenges. Okay, so if you convert this thing to meters, you are going to get 0.3 meters. Good. Then what else? I can also see an output. So daily output is equal to 500 meters squared. Meters squared per day. So the high rate 3,000 per day. The high rate is 3,000 per day. All right. So now they say we should calculate for the volume, which we don't know, question mark, and also the unit cost. Okay, so we can just start from our solution and see how best we can travel. Okay, so first of all, they say we should calculate for the volume. Okay, our volume is equal to what? Area times depth. All right, so our volume now is going to be equal to, what is going to be the value of the area? How is going to be the value of the depth? The depth is 0.3, the one I converted, and then the area was 100 by something. Hundred by 70. All right. So we're having 100 meter by 70 meter. Okay, so let's solve that together. So this is going to give us, for the area, we're going to get 7,000 times 0.3. So finally, we can say that our volume all right. So that is the answer I'm getting for the volume. That is the answer I'm getting for the volume. Um, try to, and also let's all compare the answers. Okay. If there is any challenges you are facing, you let me know. But if you don't practice it, you realize that at the end of the day, and you are just watching, it's like you are not part of us. Okay. So I wish and I will urge you that you should be able to jot something down at least. Okay. So I'm done calculating for the volume. So that is the solution I. So I'm done calculating I. Let me denote it well. Okay, let's come to II. II became the problem of the day. You see here, if you come and look at this question, look at the output over here. The output over here is what? 500 meter squared. Oh. If it was cube, it means that we'll use the volume to do our hot as our total quantity and do the calculation. But since this one is meter squared, it means that we have to use the area rather. Since this one is meter squared, it means that we have to use the area rather. You see, out of the output. So the output will always tell you whether you're going to use the what, meter cube or meter squared. The output will always tell you that. Okay, that is if you're able to do the calculations well. All right. So first of all, we have to calculate for our total quantity. And that is uh it has already been calculated already, even for that is the area. Okay, that is 7,000. So we becomes what? The 7,000 meter squared. All right. From here, what do we do next? We have to calculate our duration. So our duration, because I've written formula so many times, this time I'm going to write formula again. I'm just going to move straight to the point. So this is just going to be 7,000 meters squared all over the output. So the output, the daily output was 500 meters squared. 500 meter squared. At the end of the day, if you do cancellation, 2 zeros take care of 2 zero, and at the end of the day, you come and divide, let's say 70 divided by 5, you're going to get 14. So that makes your duration to become 14. So I'm having 14 days. Okay, I had 14 days. 14 days. Okay. After this, what do we do next? We have to also come and calculate for our um, high rate. And the high rate or the daily wage high rate is equal to duration total cost. We are supposed to calculate for total cost rather. Total cost. Total cost. So our total cost is equal to the duration times the high rate times high rate. So our total cost then now the duration we had 14, and now the total cost, the duration we had 14. We had 14 for the duration, and the total cost, the high rate is 3,000. So let's input the 3,000. So at the end of the day, let's multiply the 14 times the 3,000, and let's see the answer we are going to get. I had 4,200. So that means that the total cost is equal to 4,000 is equal to 42,000. Okay, 42,000 Ghana cedis. 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 42,000 Ghana ced All right. So after we are done calculating for our total cost, the next thing we are supposed to do is we have to calculate for our unit cost, and then we are good to go. Since we say our total cost is equal to the duration times the high rate, we had 42,000. 42,000. Okay. So at the end of the day, our unit cost, let me quickly change a different color pen. Okay. So our unit cost now, all right. So at the end of the day, we can just substitute our parameters into here and then we are good to go. Okay, the total quantity was what? 7,000. It was the area we used, so it's meter squared. We put over here. We didn't use the volume. Why didn't you use the volume? Because I said you have to look at the output. If the output is a meter squared, it means you use the area. If it is a meter cube, that is why you can use the volume. Yes. Okay. And the total cost, for the total cost, we had 42,000. All right. So at the end of the day, you realize that your unit cost, you're going to get 654 to this. It has to be written like this very nicely. Okay. And it's 6.00 per meter squared. Per meter squared. All right. So you can see how we've been solving the problem systematically. Yes, this is problem 8. Okay. Problem 9 is mainly about depreciation. I hope to compose that or combine that those together with the technical estimation questions for the next lecture video. Yes, so without talking much, I would like to end this lecture video. Please try your possible best, and try as much as possible to practice whatever we have learned. If you don't practice whatever we have learned and make it part of you, you're going to struggle. Okay, so practice is the only thing that is going to make you perfect. Okay, the more you practice, you are surely going to become perfect. Once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you all for the initiative and also accepting the initiative. I'm very much grateful. Thanks for your prayers and support everything. May God richly bless you all. Keep learning and never give up. And then I can promise you that your life is never going to be the same. Don't forget to throw $1 on my name if you find this video very, very, very interesting and also very, very, very helpful. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.